Man, this new channel format is garbage. Ugh, so bad. Nasty, disgusting. Oh! What's up, audience? Zerabus555 here, and I'm doing a deck profile video for you guys. I don't know if you can see me properly. Looks like you can. I can't really see myself because the screen's flipped around, and I probably just gave somebody some sort of motion sickness, but anyways, here I am. So I haven't done a deck profile in a long time. I have a deck profile and a couple others coming up for you guys. One Constellar deck profile from Owen from Locals, and I'm doing a kind of tournament report on a very small tournament. It's not really a big deal, but I had a couple people who wanted to know what I was playing because I ended up getting third or fourth place at Locals out of 15, which isn't a lot, but I ended up going 3-1. My only loss was Mike Watson's Dragoonides, and we had a really close match. Game 1 I ran into Mirror Force. I didn't think anybody still ran that garbage because it's just not good right now. And then game 3, I just didn't open that great. I opened like double Veiler and I just lost fuel, and he ended up having the nuts. So what can you do? Anyways, yeah, without further ado, the deck I am playing is Karakuri's. Yes, I'm playing Karakuri's. This deck is extremely good, this format. It's really fast. It keeps up with the meta, which I think is ultimately a problem with all my other decks right now. Lineups are too slow. Samurai just lose out to everything because they're not too slow. It's just if you don't open up with first turn Shannon like 4 good back row, you lose. Unless you like OTK them really fast, which isn't consistent in that deck, of course. And you know, my other decks that I play just don't even really come close. I mean, Inzektors are good if you open well. You do have a chance, but generally they can get outplayed, so that's kind of one of the biggest problems overall. So anyways, yeah, as you guys can see, I am playing Karakuri's. This deck is really, really good. I ended up 2-0ing 3 people that day, and then my only loss was Mike Watson. So, I mean, the deck's just nasty. Hand traps are back again, which I love. Sorry for the glare, but hand traps are back again, and they were awesome all day long. I actually sided a third one of each one. Against Mike Watson, I ended up siding both these, but unfortunately, game 3, I just drew 2 Veilers and no Maxx. If I drawn a Maxx, I probably would have won that game, but what can you do? This build's testing really, really well. The only thing that I'm kind of skeptical about is I'm running 2 anatomies. Now, I know some people like running 3, and I can understand that because you are running, if you open up with this guy, that, and that, you have draw 3, which is pretty nasty. Because you're going to make a Barreto and special another one of these guys out, and he switches, and then you get another one, and then you get a draw off Barreto, and then you draw 2. So it's really, really good. It's also really good, of course, if you have the De-Synchro, but I really want to cut something to make room for a third De-Synchro, because I really like that card. It's extremely powerful. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to just talk about the deck profile here. So you run your 3 Ninishi and your 3 Nishipachi. They're your machine dupe targets. I do run 1 dupe. It's actually really good. It just gets in there. Then I run the 2 Inishichis. I love this guy on this deck. He's so good because he gives you that target. You special him from the deck and make Naturia Beast. He also can search out the Cash, and he can also grab the Anatomy, which I grab a lot, and then you can do cool combos and draw more cards. So he's fantastic. 2 Soldier, he's great because he, of course, gets in our bottom list when you use him as the normal summon. And as we all know with Karakuri's, they pretty much just get under bottom list as a +1, which is pretty awesome. Also, you know, the deck can obviously just keep going too, which is pretty crazy. Also, I'm running the 1 Kuick. He's just good because his effect, you know, gets in there a lot. I sometimes wish I was running Hypa because you can see I don't really have any big beaters, so I have a hard time getting over like Thunder King and stuff. But generally, Thunder King's not a huge deal because I have the E-Tellies. And I mean, they're gonna try and like negate the Solar Windjammer or something on the first synchro, and you just like keep going, so you don't really care. 2 commanders. Now, I've seen some people running 3 commanders and 3 E-Tellies. I think that's overkill. I mean, yeah, you want to open up with a level 3 tuner. But drawing like 2 of this guy and then like, you know, drawing your E-Tellies late game, it's just not good. So I like kind of keeping him in the deck and then just drawing the E-Tellies by themselves. And this ended up been testing really well. This whole build's been testing extremely consistently. Like I find that actually the biggest problem is you don't get level, like you have no problem getting to the level 3 in your hand, but the problem is getting to the level 5 cards fast enough to keep the Barreto combos going. So I ultimately find that the 3s is not the problem. So I think running a 3rd commander just would not be necessary. And then I'm running the 3 Solar Windjammer. This card made this deck so good because you guys know I used to play Karakuri's hardcore. I used to love them, but the problem being that, you know, if you ran Cyber Dragon, Obviously, you had to wait a turn for your opponent to summon or set a monster, and that was unfortunate. I mean, you couldn't go off turn 1, which means you also had to play around back rows, which is a problem for this deck. So if you can just go off turn 1, you generally can win. So like just even like going off of the Maxx C, or they Maxx C you, and you just go Burrito, Nishipachi, draw 1, switch them to attack. Generally, you both go +1 off that, so it ends up not even mattering, which is cool that this deck can play around Maxx C and you just don't care. And then they have a 2800 beater to get around, and they have a card that if they want to kill, you're going to draw a card off of it. So it's pretty fantastic. The 2 Veilers and the Maxx Cs, like I said, are fantastic. I'm loving Maxx C this format. I was originally running 3 Veilers, but I ended up actually cutting the third one for the second Anatomy, and I actually liked it a little bit better. I think 3 Veiler can be cloggy against decks that it doesn't do a whole lot against, so I think 2 is just fine. So this is kind of your Karakuri spam engine. It's really, really good. Once again, I wish I had room to run a third De-Synchro. I'm actually thinking about cutting the decrees, but I like them. They tested well. It saves room in my extra deck, or side deck as well, which is nice. But I've seen people running the like triple machine dupe version. Team J Beans or whatever his name is. His build is good, but the problem with that build right now, and he didn't actually understand this, but that build loses to Ophion instantly. You have no outs in that deck to Ophion. This deck at least has outs to Ophion. When I said that to him, he's like, how does this deck have outs to Ophion? Well, all you need to do is open up with this and an E-Telly, and that's your out to Ophion. You summon this, you switch their Ophion to defense position, you E-Telly, you grab that guy, he attacks over the Ophion in defense position, then drops its attack and defense with his effect, and you run it over, and then you can start going off in main phase 2. So, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't run this build. This is the build that's been, like, topping Nationals. It won a Nationals in somewhere over in Europe. I forget what it was. It's been topping Regionals, and it's just, like, I don't know why you would run the crappy machine dupe version over this, especially when this build has better draws as well, so... De-Synchro is a beautiful card. I never understood how busted this was in the Karakuris until I started playing it. It's the reason I want to actually start running 3, because I just didn't even realize, like, if you top deck that off of, like, the draw off Burrito, you basically +1, because you're going to De-Synchro, you special 2 guys back, and you make them again, you special another Karakuri, and then you're going to draw a card, and then you're going to make a beret, and then you're going to grab another Karakuri, and then you end up with this really nasty field. Or you can make a Landois or a Naturia Beast, whatever you need, and it's just like so freaking ridiculous. So yeah, I actually might end up cutting Anatomy down to 1 and running triple De-Synchro. I'm actually probably going to test it out, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I thought 3 was going to be dead, but I mean, it is like the best card in the deck. It's just an insane card. So I found a lot of times I'd always side out the second Anatomy. I mean, like, I don't think you need to. Generally, you just search out the one with the Nishichi when you know you got a combo that you can get the 2 battle switches off. Otherwise, it can be dead in your open hand a lot, and you wish it was something else. So, I mean, this makes bigger power plays, and it helps you keep up with decks like E-Dragons and Prophecies. And I just want to say this deck has an incredible Prophecy matchup. Like, you can make Naturia Beast turn 1 so easy. Like, you can make 2 Burritos and Naturia Beast, or Burrito, Beret, and Naturia Beast, like, every turn 1. It's just ridiculous. And then, you set a warning, and they just, like, can't win. Plus, you got your hand traps, and, as we all know, Priestess cannot get over, the Karakuri monsters unless they have Spellbook of Power. So, it's just really, really gnarly. Also, this deck has a decent E-Dragon matchup if you can outspeed them. I mean, you are running the hand traps too, so that gives you a little bit of advantage. But generally, if you put too many monsters on the board for E-Dragons, they can't get over it fast enough. So, I mean, and if you have the hand traps to stop Big Eye and Dracosack, you can generally win pretty quick. I mean, E-Dragons plus up the butt, but you can OTK them pretty fast. So, and not everybody's maining Swift Scarecrows right now. The one Cash is good. It puts in a lot of work. Basically, it just, gives you that one switch you need or that one search, and it can thin out the deck by 1 card, so I really like it. Like I said, the dupe's fantastic. As you can see, I'm not running Mystical. I don't think Mystical is that great right now, especially in a deck where you just need to draw your combo pieces to go off. Like, even running the hand traps is a little sketchy in here because, you draw them and you wish they were one of your combo pieces instead, but they're too good when you get your field out and you just need protection, so I like them too much. I've won games off of the Veiler just, like, hitting a Mistworm or, something like that. Pot of Avarice is friggin' busted in this deck. It's the reason I love playing Karakuris, because you can fill up like friggin' 10 cards in the graveyard turn 1, and then your Avarice is live right away, and you can get it like more pluses. This deck, like, sometimes you get hands where you can open up with like 2 Burritos, a Beret, and a Naturia Beast, and a set row Decree, and then you'll have like 6 cards in your hand still, because you just like plus so much. And that's the crazy thing about this deck, is it's just like, you know, it's one of the few decks in the format that's budget that can actually keep up with this bad format, and that's the reason why I'm ultimately playing it. I'm running Book of Moon over Dark Hole. I do not like Dark Hole in this deck because ultimately, once again, you generally start off your turn with a big field, and it's like playing Dark Hole and Samurais. You just like draw and you're like, oh, this is gay. I wish there was something else. Book of Moon is just so good right now. You know, I can set it as protection for Naturia Beast. I can use it offensively and defensively, of course. And, you know, I can flip down stuff that stops me from special summoning, like Jowgen, Christia, you know, the random bad King Tiger Wang Hu, which is gay, but Monster Reborn's too good. And then, yeah, once again, on the traps, the guy who won, I think it was Danish Nationals. I think that was the guy who won. He was running 2 Decree, Warning, Judgment, and then 2 Phoenix Chains, but he wasn't running Valor, and I think Valor is better than Phoenix Chain. Of course, Phoenix Chain stops attacks, but, you know, you can still get Mystical and stuff, and I like that this deck doesn't really have any weaknesses to Mystical except for the Decree, but you're usually going to set the Decree after you get the Naturia Beast, unless you need to go off or something, but generally this deck can play around back row so well, it's funny. So anyways, guys, that's the deck. I'll show you the extra deck really quick, and I am looking for some opinions on it, so let me just get this out of the way here. Alright, so extra deck. So we got one. Sorry for the gear, I'm going to move here, guys. Sorry, got some glare going on. That's better. So we got 1, 2 Burritos. I don't think you need 3. I just honestly think the 2's fine. Because you have the De-Synchros and stuff, you can put them back. And, you know, generally a lot of the times, I just think that 3 takes up room. 1 Scrap Dragon and 1 Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is necessary. I didn't ever bring him out, although as people know this is funny, but mine actually got stolen on at locals on the weekend by this freaking French queer, so I ended up getting another one back because it's not that much money, but I mean, it's still frustrating. I had to waste cards to get it back for some scrub. The 1 Crimson Blader, this guy's legit. That's your E-Dragon out, which is pretty nasty. So that's it for 8s. On the 7s, I'm running 2 Berets. I actually want to bump this up to 3 Berets. I'm probably going to cut out actually Black Rose, because I never had a chance where I was like, oh, I should make Black Rose. And Black Rose really isn't that great right now. I mean, when you think about it, he's basically just a Dark Hole, but I'd rather just have like that 3rd Beret to make. So I'm probably going to cut this guy out, and because I never make Black Rose anymore. Like, he's just bad this format. With all the Draco Sacks and stuff running around, like, very rarely do you get his Explosion off either. He just gets Veilored or something, or Phoenix Chain. So I'd rather just make a Beret, because at least he's a decent force to get over. Another MVP, the extra deck, is definitely Landois. I love this card, so good. This makes the E-Dragon matchup really, really powerful. Like, generally, you have a ton of spells in your hand. Sometimes they're dead, especially after drawing a bunch of cards. So making Landois last, especially if you make Landois into Nat Beast, you generally have game. Nat Beast and Catastor. Nat Beast is MVP in the extra deck for sure, but I actually love Catastor because he's a machine. So you can open up, like, cool hands, like... you have Ninishi, Machine Dupe, and then Inishichi. And you summon Ninishi, you go Machine Dupe, grab the other 2 Ninishis from the deck, and then you get your extra normal summon with Inishichi. You search out Anatomy, you activate it, you get Synchro for Catastor, and then Synchro up with another Ninishi with the Catastor because he's a machine non-tuner, and you make Burrito. And in that situation, it's really, really good. Because then you can start doing your combos, and you're going to end your field with a Beret, a Burrito, and probably a Naturia Beast or something, plus you're drawing 2 or 3 cards, so it's pretty nasty. Now for XYZs, I'm running Tiras, the ones and mains you need. But I'm running Tiras because sometimes you get those gay hands where you open up, like, Solar Windjammer and a Instant Fusion, and it's just good to have that, like, 1 rank 5. I was going to run Volcasaurus, but I decided Tiras is just better. You know, she can get in pluses, and I've actually won a few games just by summoning the Tiras, and then the person can't get over it, and they just, you know, you just get +1 at return. So she's really, really good, or he, sorry. And then last but not least, obviously, is you have to run the 2 Cybersauruses. You have to run them. So, and then Zeramus 5 token. But yeah, the only thing I might change is I might drop a Black Rose for a 3rd Beret. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. I don't think I'm ever gonna make this guy. So. Anyways, guys, that's the deck profile. As you can see, it's very messy. Thanks for watching, and I will have another deck profile up for you guys later this afternoon or possibly tomorrow. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace!